AFTV, Mo, what can I say? It's never nice to lose a North London derby. And I don't know what to make of that. You know what I mean? It's in that you have to say it was a Mourinho doing what Mourinho does on Arsenal, which was basically use this tactic superbly and sucked in and done a number on us.
Yeah, but, you know, is that a surprise to you? Is that a surprise to me? Is that a surprise to any one of the people that are going to watch this interview? No. So it wouldn't have been a surprise to Arteta. So the question is, why did we allow ourselves to fall into that dumb trap?
Sorry, I lost you there slightly. Say that again.
It's not good enough then, Robbie, is it? If we all know that's going to happen, if this is so textbook, read the goddamn textbook and prepare yourself. So it's not good enough that Mourinho is and we fell into that trap. My question is, why did we allow ourselves to fall into this trap and show such ridiculous, frustrating naivety?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was thinking to myself, the one place where, or the one thing that we haven't been under Mikel Arteta has been naive. If anything, we've been accused of being ultra defensive, and I was saying this is going to be a really tight game. But we were so open for both of them. I mean, both brilliant goals by them, but we were so open for both of them, weren't we?
Well, I don't think the second one was brilliant. I think that was just, we'll get on to that. But I think the first one, whilst the finish was brilliant, and what Tottenham did on the ball was brilliant. And generally when people score goals, you obviously look at what's happened on the ball. But then there's also that separate conversation that you have to talk about. And it's like, what did the other team do off the ball? And brilliant from Tottenham on the ball, and especially the finish. You can't take anything away from that. You know, no one's blaming Leno. It was world-class finish by Son. But Arsenal off the ball, it's as if we have not watched Tottenham once this season. Gabriel, who I thought was one of our better players today, he was just anonymous on Kane off the ball. When Kane managed to drop deep, get that ball under his control, and then spring that counter-attack, how many times have we seen Kane do that this season? Gabriel should be, at all times, every single second of the 90 minutes, be thinking, when he gets the ball, I have to make him play backwards and not forwards. I need to be his shadow. Kane is not the sort of player, he's not an Mbappe where he's going to spin and skin you. He will hold the ball up and he'll play the way he's facing. So if you let him turn, he will play that way. And he's been doing it all season to devastating effect. Gabriel was nowhere near him. And then Thomas Partey, he was the second one to try and have a nibble at Kane. Maybe we can give him some slack here because he's obviously not fit, but he just dangled a hopeless leg at it. It's not going to do enough. It's not enough. Get in his way, get in his face properly, or get goal side and block off the danger, block off the counter. He didn't do enough. And then Son gets the ball from Kane and Rob Holding. Absolutely awful. And in that shot as well, you'll see Willian being outpaced, running back. I can't remember who it was for Tottenham running forward. They're sprinting and Willian is doing a three-quarter sprint. And these are the things you have to look at. Whilst it was a wonderful goal, it was preventable and we didn't prevent it. And then the second goal, whilst I'll cut Thomas Partey some slack on the first one, because, you know, fair enough, he's been injured, he might not be at his best level of intensity. What he did for that second goal is unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. I don't care what level I'm playing at. If I'm playing with my mates and someone does that, I'd be livid. At least try and influence a game in some way. If that means that you sit on the pitch and wave a hand, at least put some pressure on them to be sportsmen about it. But to go and just vacate your duties entirely and walk off the pitch, and your manager's having to physically push you back on the pitch in any game, is that unacceptable? In a North London derby, that clearly tells me not a single person in this team explained to him what this game was about and what it means and what the required levels are. And these are two factors in the two goals, yeah, where I've said players fell short. And what does Mikel Arteta say at the end of the game? That the desire, the fight, the effort was good. He praised the desire, the fight, and the effort. And if that is acceptable to Mikel Arteta, we're having a very, very difficult season.
I was going to ask this question. It's Burnley next week. There's already, I can say, you know, the girls were taking lots of comments after the game from different people. If we were to lose that game, do you start to look on it and say, time's up for Mikel Arteta?
You know, Robbie, if Arteta was sacked this evening, I would say, yeah, I can understand that. You know, I really would say, it's hard to, you know, it's the worst start in 45 years or whatever it is. You know, we're least chances created. We're not scoring. We're completely naive today. Been awful this season. And I would say on that basis, yeah, I can understand him getting sacked. But would I sack him right now? No, because ultimately I want to show some faith in the guy. I want to show some loyalty. But I would be walking into his office and I'd be saying to him, you've got 6 games now until the turn of the year. And I'm going to give you a points target. If you don't get the points, then, you know, that's it. We're going to be in dire trouble. You know, that will be really, really into the season, and we're going to be flirting with the relegation zone that we're doing now. And it's simply not good enough. So I'd be giving him his ultimatum now. But I would not be sacking him right now, because I never want Arsenal to become that club where it's just a managerial circus.
All right. Well, listen, Mo, I don't know what to say apart from that, past that, because it was just, again, so deflating for every Arsenal fan. And we're now 11 points behind Tottenham. And we look miles off them as well. That's the appalling thing about it. And can you see things changing?
No, not in this form. And not with Arteta's ridiculous decisions. I've spoken about this so many times. You know, today, Robbie, that second half was a training game for Tottenham. It was attack on defence. And they would have looked at each other and said, yep, listen, we can see what they're doing. We're limiting them to crosses. And they haven't got, who have we got up front, you know, that we're putting these crosses into? We've got Alan Shearer, Olivier Giroud and Duncan Ferguson playing 3 up top. That's what we're putting crosses. It makes no sense to me. We have got Aubameyang and Lacazette. These, you know, Alex Scott, who I thought did a brilliant job on punditry tonight, she pointed out that in the 70-odd goals that Aubameyang has scored for Arsenal, 3 headers. What are we playing at? Putting in these crosses. And then we're putting Nketiah on. Does the system change? No. We're putting in crosses to Nketiah, Lacazette, Aubameyang. I don't understand it. So to me, when I look at that second half, and you saw how that second half was going, and you saw that Tottenham had no ambition in that second half because they'd already done the hard work. At that point, if you have a Mesut Ozil on the bench, you say, well, actually, this is the sort of game where actually now you can influence, because we do need that option in the middle. He's not one that's going to track back. He's not going to put big tackles in, but no one was doing that for Arsenal in the second half because that was not the game. And this shows how bad Arteta's decisions are. I'm not for a second saying Ozil is the answer to all of our problems, but this game was an absolute perfect example of why he should be in the 25-man squad and why he should be in the matchday squad, because it could have been the sort of game where we say, listen, we need a cute pass. We need that perfect pass, you know, from 25, 30 yards away from goal into the box to set a chance up. And we didn't have him. That's the decisions that I'm talking about, where Arteta is going to fall on his sword. And again, playing Willian, who actually I didn't think played too badly today. You know, when you look at how badly everyone else played, the crosses he put in, his corners were awful, but the crosses, yeah, they weren't going to.
You're right. Crosses are actually good. There's just nobody in the end.
Yeah.
We need a Giroud for those.
Yeah, and then when is putting in crosses and they actually are being contested and they're not the worst crosses. I'm not saying they're absolute quality or anything like that, but they're not the worst crosses. I was frustrated by his corners, but not his crosses. So he's playing to the system, obviously. Arteta even spoke about the crosses in his unbelievably frustrating post-match interview. He referenced the crosses and tried to use that as evidence as to how we dominated the game. And I just think to myself, wow, if what I'm seeing on the pitch doesn't concern me, his post-match conference really concerned me, because it showed absolute naivety. He seemed to think that we dominated the game. And I just think to myself, you don't have a clue. You literally do not have a clue, because we dominated the game because Mourinho allowed us to dominate the second half, because he understands and fully believes that his defense is better than our attack, and he thinks that we're toothless. And the fact that Arteta took that to mean that we dominated the game and there's some positives come out of that was shocking to me. And you know, the other one thing I have to say today, you know, I was looking at Aubameyang's movement up top, not a single positive confident, assertive run. His movement today was awful. His movement too often was putting a defender between him and the ball. Never was he getting goal side. Never was he making the run, demanding the cross. When he did have the chance, header went over. Lacazette today, this number 10 experiment, put it in the bin. Absolutely. He lacks the subtlety and the craft to play a number 10 role at the highest level. Absolutely doesn't exist. In the Europa League, he'll do fine. In the Premier League, against really, really good, tightly knit defences, he is not capable of being a number 10. If you want a number 10 that can do it, I go back to Mesut Ozil. Have him as an option. He doesn't have to start. Have him as an option. Those two today, Aubameyang and Lacazette, awful. Absolutely awful. Holding, awful. You know, just so many bad performances. Saka, Tierney, Gabriel, they came out of it with some credit. And Xhaka, back to his usual self. We need to give up. You know, I'm really fed up with people saying, oh, but he's improved. He's improved to a level that is average, absolutely average, not good. And we only view it as good as because of how bad he was at the start. There's a lot of change that need to be made in this team. And Arteta got it horribly, horribly wrong today. Really, really disappointed.
Cheers, Mo. Thanks a lot, man.
Would you like to earn yourself some extra money this Christmas? Maybe you want to buy a gift for your friend, for your family. Maybe you want to donate some money to charity. Well, why don't you check out Profit Accumulator? So to find out more and to sign up, check the link in the description and get involved right now with Profit Accumulator.